What's the most unprofessional thing a doctor's office ever did? I took my father, a proud, stoic man who'd never complained about a thing in his life, to see a cardiologist for what we feared was a serious heart issue. He'd been having shortness of breath and chest pains, and his primary care doctor had fast-tracked us for the appointment. When we got to the office, a harried-looking receptionist handed us a clipboard and said, "Fill this out and have a seat." The forms were extensive, asking about everything from childhood allergies to my grandmother's medical history. After an hour of my father slowly and meticulously filling out the paperwork, we returned to the desk. "We're finished," I said, handing her the clipboard. "It's been an hour. Is the wait usually this long?" She sighed dramatically. "The doctor is seeing patients in the order of their appointment time. You were 15 minutes late, so you'll be seen 15 minutes late." I explained that my father's symptoms were getting worse and that we'd arrived exactly on time, but she just pointed to a digital clock on her computer that showed the time we'd been checked in. "The timestamp doesn't lie," she said coldly. "Just wait." We sat back down, and my father's breathing became more labored. He was pale and sweating, but he just gripped his cane and refused to make a scene. 20 minutes later, the receptionist called out a name, and a woman who had arrived an hour after us walked back to the exam rooms. "Excuse me," I said, going to the desk again. "That woman just arrived and she's already being seen." "She's a new patient," the receptionist explained. "New patients have a different intake process. My father is a new patient too," I said, my voice rising with frustration. "He's having a medical emergency." She didn't even look at me. She just pointed to a sign on the wall that said, "New patients are seen on a first-come, first-served basis." An hour and a half passed. My father was now slumped over in his chair, gasping for air. Other patients in the waiting room were starting to stare, and one man offered to drive us to the hospital. That's when I saw the doctor walk out of his office, laughing and joking with a man I recognized as a prominent local politician. They shook hands, and the politician left. The doctor then walked over to the receptionist's desk, and the receptionist said something to him quietly. The doctor looked over at my father, and then back at the receptionist. He shrugged and went back into his office. I'd had enough. I picked up my father's cane, helped him to his feet, and walked out the door. The receptionist didn't even look up as we left. We drove straight to the hospital, where the triage nurse took one look at my father and wheeled him into a trauma bay immediately. The ER doctor came out 30 minutes later, looking grim. "Your father's heart was minutes from a complete collapse," he said. "He had a massive arterial blockage and needed immediate surgery." "Who sent you to that doctor's office?" I showed him the name of the cardiologist. The ER doctor shook his head in disgust. "That doctor is notorious for prioritizing his friends and VIP clients over everyone else." He handed me a business card for a lawyer who specialized in medical malpractice and told me to get a second opinion on my father's primary care doctor for even sending us there. My father survived the surgery, but the ordeal changed him forever. He was no longer the stoic man I knew, but a man who was now deeply distrustful of the medical system.